Okay, welcome, guys. I know we're going to have a small group today because we have a religious holiday going on, and I completely understand. So my plan for today is pretty simple. I'm going to open with questions in just a moment. Then I'll go over our agenda, though it's brief. I want to be able to make sure we look at what the expectation is with the feedback for the problem-based assignments. And then I also want to make sure that everybody's clear on the expectations for our work for next week as well. So how is everybody's week?
Hello, Professor.
Hello.
Congratulations for Berkeley.
Thank you. It is a full house this weekend. We have the new baby and her sister who is 3, and then we have my niece came to visit with her 4-year-old and 5-year-old girl. So we have 4 girls in the house under the age of 5 right now.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yes.
As
Yes,
you know, we have
everybody's so
our holidays, and we were like pretty much into that.
yes.
Plus, preparing for it's a long holiday actually. It's a full week.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Uh,
fantastic. Well, I
well,
promise not to take.
originally it's from Friday to Monday.
Yes.
Uh, Monday? Monday, yes. But the
Okay.
government decided to extend it to to be the whole week. They
Lovely.
love vacations here. Really,
Oh,
they love it.
I need to come there because in America, we don't. So I love, as an American, I love vacations, but our government does not. So they love
Well,
to honor things with a holiday, but they don't give people time for that.
it's not about honoring the holiday more than like enjoying free time. Yeah,
I
yeah, they
agree.
like free time. They like, you know, less responsibilities, less work, less pressure.
Well, that's something for y'all to consider when you consider working for an American company, because the last statistic that I read, 70% of American employees do not use their holiday time.
Why? Because of work pressure
Because
or what?
Yes, yes, because of the pressure of the work. So what happens generally, and I hope that these things will change post-pandemic, but what happens generally is if you go on holiday, you have more work to prepare to go and then more work when you get back.
That's
Eh,
interesting
Yes, yes, and I know
and strange in the same way.
Yes, my last organization, I was working full time for the university, and I went on to an administration line from a faculty member line. And I didn't even have holiday when I was on holiday because people would still call and text and email me. So the only way that I could get away was if I went to a remote country that I didn't have Wi-Fi, and I would just let them know I wouldn't have Wi-Fi.
That's a complete non-reachable.
Yes, exactly.
Well, let me tell you something. Here, after duty hours, like I'm working in Kuwait. Okay,
Yes.
so uh, not everyone the same, of course, but the majority here. Once the day is finished, once the work day finished, they shut down everything.
Yes.
Even if there is a crisis, they don't care.
Mhm.
I'm finished my work. I finished my time. Halas, done. Let someone else take care of it.
Well, we could use a little bit of that here. So I think that there's a happy
A
medium
little
that
bit
could.
could be a little
Yes.
bit, but here it's a lot. It's
Yes.
more than
Yes.
a lot.
Yes, my partner is in Dubai right now. He's just finishing up a year contract there, and he said the same thing would happen. All of the workers that he was responsible for would go on holiday, when it was like a religious holiday or something, and he said they're done. they don't come to work. So we're very shorthanded throughout that week or throughout the weekend or the amount of time that people are off. So I was just mesmerized by that because it just so far hasn't really been the way of life here in America. And like I said, I do think some people are changing that with the pandemic and the way that they lead and manage. So we will see. I see a few more have joined us. We were just talking a little bit about the differences between working internationally in regards to outside of America and the holidays and the statistics, current statistics on that. So if you're interested in catching up, I won't repeat. It's recorded. You're welcome to listen to that portion if you missed it. But we're going to go ahead and get started because I promise we are only going to take a small amount of time today. And then throughout the week, you'll be able to complete what we would have done today during this session because I do want to honor the time and give you all that opportunity to spend with your family and away from class for your religious holiday. So what you see on the screen very quickly is our before, during, and after that is available each time. And though we're not holding you accountable to Chapter 6 from July 4th and Chapter 7 from today, as it says on the chapter evaluation cumulative Chapter 1 through 7 quiz. The quiz that's going to be available for you to take these next couple of days is only going to be from Chapter 1 through 5. I thought it was only fair that we were together and studying those chapters. And Chapter 6 and 7 were kind of just a part of what we're working on right now. So even though it does say Chapter 1 through 7, when you go to take that quiz is for Chapter 1 through 5. And I am not the kind of person that is about, I don't find a lot of value in this type of quiz other than for you for self-reflection on what you might need to kind of tighten up a little bit more or go back and read more if you're not understanding the content of the quiz. So you can take that quiz as many times as you need to. To me, it's not about the score. To me, it's about the learning. And there were a couple of key things from each of those chapters 1 through 5 that I wanted to make sure you keep in your learning repertoire. So that is going to be available under the 11th of July portion of the Moodle. And like I said, you can take that quiz as many times as you need to. And do look at the questions that were selected. And if you happen to not get something, it's good for you to go in and study that. I just tell you, I refer you to the chapter that it came from, and it's up to you to go in and do that. And you can retake the quiz if you choose to. If you choose not to, then that's okay too. If when you get the question correct, I will verify the answer and where it came from within the text just to solidify and also connect it to the learning objective that it related to. So that's what that's going to be set up like. And then for the 17th of July, we're going to focus on Chapter 8, Cross-Cultural and Organizational Communications. And that is already set up in the Moodle. And everything is accessible for that. What you will want to do between now and the 18th of July is bring an example of communication from your workplace because there's some great references for us to guide a conversation around strong communication development in our workplace. So I thought it would be great if you could bring an example. Of course, do not share anybody's personal information, like their name or whatnot, but the content of a communication piece. And once you read or listen to that chapter 8, it will make more sense, that assignment to bring with you. It doesn't have to be anything formal. I'm not going to collect it. You're going to use it during the class session next week. So those are the main things. You always have this table available to you. So if you come upon something that doesn't make sense to you, then just send me a note through WhatsApp and I will clarify for you. So if there aren't any more questions, I want to open the floor for questions, and then I'm going to explain how this feedback procedure is going to take place for the presentation portion of the problem-based projects. So any questions before I move into that?
Yes, Professor.
Yes.
I prepared a presentation and I prepared like a Word document. I can change it to PDF, there is no issues. But like right now we are here, so we will be talking about this problem through the presentation. Okay, as you mentioned, for 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes
Correct.
each. Then we will have like one day to do any final reviews, then post it to module or post it to our Google Drive and send you the link. What will be the next?
I'm going to actually clarify that all for you right now. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to clarify that time frame for you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions before we move into that? Okay, I'm going to change my screen. Yes, go ahead.
Professor.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine. Professor, do you hear me?
I can. You're a little broken up.
Okay. And the assignment offered you was 7 a.m. and I uploaded 10 minutes before, so it will be offered not 10 hours and 4 minutes later. The assignment was offered you.
Okay, I think that you said that you uploaded your assignment at 7 a.m. Is that correct?
No, I submitted and 10 minutes before. I submitted 10 minutes before.
Okay,
Yes.
well, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you. I've got a backup plan for that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
No
Yes,
problem. Thank you for mentioning it. I know someone else, it might have been you, but someone WhatsApped me just a little bit ago. That's why I was taking a little bit of time to get on the platform for the session. And they sent me their Powtoon, which is their link for their presentation, but they didn't send me their name of who was sending it. It's just a phone number, and I don't know everyone's phone number. So I just sent them a note back and said, I don't know whose this is, and I'm going to need you to give me your name so that I can add it to the spreadsheet, or they can add it to the spreadsheet. So, so let me show you. We're obviously working for the feedback on this presentation portion right here of the rubric. And the importance of the presentation is that you're able to take what you did in your written paper, which is essential. It's important for you to be able to communicate in writing, but it's also important for you to be able to synthesize that information in a visual presentation, because you'll be doing that in your workplaces in different roles. So the reason why I wanted it to be within a 10-minute time frame is because you quite often don't have your leader's ear for very much time. When you're meeting with a group of colleagues, you don't have all day to go over all of the details. So in a way, when you write it out in the paper format, it gives you the flow and it gives you the important information that you want to relay. And then it challenges you to critically think about it, to break that down into a shorter time frame for a presentation. That's why I had you do it as a written paper and a presentation. Everything I do is going to be because it will relate to a scenario that you may run into in your future positions or current positions. The reason why I wanted you to provide a hyperlink to access your presentation is because I wanted to make sure that everyone has access and can review what everyone else had focused on and learn from each other if you so choose. And then I also wanted you to be able to have a web-based form of, like go through that challenge of getting your information all concise into a presentation and then providing a link so that when you're meeting with colleagues and you have 3 of the 5 people you're going to meet with not be able to join you for the meeting virtually or face-to-face, you can send them a link and say, this will offer you the information. Let me know what questions you might have afterwards, because it's very then encompassing of the team, regardless of what situations are going on in their home life balance, to be able to experience that. So that's why I designed this way. Now, what I've done is I've taken these components that you were provided to have a successful presentation, and I have brought them into, I'm going to change screens. I just need to make sure I go to the correct one. Okay. I've got a lot of screens to share with you guys today. So I brought those components from the rubric into an easy form from Microsoft or from Google. And so what you're going to do for your team members, and I'll show you who your team members are if you've forgotten from when we clustered into a small group. You're going to select the presenter's name, and then you're going to put your name in, and then each component of the 9 to 10 score on the success criteria rubric is available for you to offer feedback to your colleague in your team. So when looking at the way the information was conveyed to the audience in a 10-minute time frame, so you might feel like, oh, this person took 5 minutes to present their information, and it was so concise and clear. I know exactly what they wanted me to know, and I'm not left with any huge lingering wonderings or any gaps in my understanding. So even though it was 5 minutes out of the 10 that was required, I would still say it's very good or excellent. Or you might get someone's presentation that was 7 minutes, and you might be like, wow, there's a huge gap. This whole component of the assignment is missing, and it leaves me wondering. And so then you would score that as poor, fair, or satisfactory. I want you to be completely honest when you're doing this feedback form, because what I'm doing is I'm extending the amount of time that people can have to do revisions if they so choose. So what I will do is I will provide everyone with the feedback that has been received for their presentation and give you time to read that and decide if you want to make any changes to your paper, and then do a final submit for your paper. And we're going to take some time to do that. We're not going to just do that within 24 hours because there is a holiday going on for many. And I want to make sure that you get an opportunity to really take in what people have to say. So that's one part of the feedback form. And then after that section about conveying the information within the 10-minute time frame, you can offer specific feedback if you want to write a note and say, you were really strong when you represented this, this, and that. What didn't work for me as a learner or as the receiver of the information was blah, blah, blah. If you don't have anything to say, just say, I have nothing to add here. And then we're going to go into the professionalism of the presentation. And again, everything that you're seeing on the screen is what was in that first column on the success criteria rubric. It's just broken down. And this is going to also be a poor to excellent rating that you'll offer feedback to your colleague. And it's on how they organize the information, how logical that information was to you as the receiver. We all know from the Johari's window that we might have some blind spots. And this is an opportunity for us to receive that feedback in a way that can be positive for us. It's about the outline or graphic organizer that was supposed to be included. It's about the multimedia to relay the content. So within your PowerPoint in audio, was it difficult to hear? Or if you did a POW tune, were there skipping between scenes? If you used an infographic, do I know where to locate the audio for that infographic? Things like that. This is a good opportunity for you to offer that information to your peers. And that's just going to help you in the future. Doesn't mean that you have to redo anything. You can choose to keep it as is, but it offers you the insights. And you're going to need to make those decisions in the workplace when you're working with colleagues or a team on a project. What are you going to keep? What are you going to let go of? What will you revise? So again, there's a space underneath the professionalism of presentation for you to write a note to your colleague if there was something that stood out. I always say I'm open to considerations and compliments, right? We're not telling each other what our presentation should look like. We're offering considerations as the reviewer, as the receiver of the information for the presentation, what we might want to consider. And then it's always nice to get a compliment on color schemes that you used, or the way you organized the content, or the focus, and the way you tied in different examples. It just helps people to know what their strengths are when designing presentations. So then we'll go into attention to details. And this is on a strongly disagree to strongly agree. And this looks at, are the graphics that are used, do the graphics explain or reinforce the content? Or is it just a random image that has nothing to do with the content? Are we articulating through our voice in a clear manner? Or is it very mundane or rote? Or are there areas that we stutter, like I stutter all the time, or I say the word like a lot? Just things like that to be a little bit more cognitive of. The creative engagement was incorporated. And that is, I had a few questions come in on that. And no one likes to just be talked at all the time. If you notice, like before I started going into this content, I made sure I gave you an opportunity to ask questions. And then when I finish with this content, you'll have an opportunity to engage with us as well. Especially in the virtual setting, it's hard to get true feedback from people if they're very passive and just waiting for the content to end. But if you do something that keeps people's attention and engages them, that's very helpful. So then when we go into the content being easily accessible, meaning is the hyperlink there? Can I click on it and get what I need? Or do I have to go to a lot of different places to get what I need? Or are there things that are not working for me to access for the presentation to make sense? Things like that. That's important to get feedback because we're all coming from different parts of the world and we want to make sure that our materials are accessible. We also want to just check for misspellings and grammatical errors. I know there's different nuances on British English and American English. I'm not talking about small things like that, but if you see something that stands out to you, it's important to make note of that because then again, for the attention to details, you can type in, so for free of misspellings and or grammatical errors. If there was a complete line missing where the sentence just stops and it's not where it was supposed to stop, give your colleague a note and say, there seems to be text missing on this bullet point. And it could be that they did separate text boxes and the text box that went next covered up a part of the line and they didn't even realize it. Just being thoughtful. And then you're going to just do an overall rating of the presentation. And like I said, this form I will collect for each person from your team. And so if we were doing this form for Ahmed and there were 4 of us in his group, I will take all 4 of those and condense them into a document for him. He won't know who said what, but he'll know what his peers experienced from his presentation. So that's the point of that. Any questions regarding this feedback form?
Professor.
Yes.
And this feedback, do we submit when we finish the meeting?
That's a good question. Actually, on that visual that I just had up for you, the feedback is going to be due the day before our next session, so the 17th on the 17th of July, all feedback will be turned in so that before we meet the morning of the 18th, I will send everyone their feedback. And then you'll have a couple of days to make those revisions. And the reason why I'm spreading that over the week is multiple reasons. We were going to do this today in class in groups. We were going to do an example together, whole group, and then break into our small groups. And we would have it done and you would be able to get the feedback and have a couple of days to work on it if you choose to make revisions. But with the holiday, I want to make it fair for everyone and still keep us on our timeline for the course. So we're going to do this on our own time, providing this feedback throughout these next days and make sure that we've completed our feedback for our team members no later than the 17th of July. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I understand that well.
Okay. Any other questions?
Actually, I have a question.
Yes.
For the links, the Google Drive link or the hyperlink having our materials, so shall we share it directly with our team to give a direct feedback, or it will be shared from your Excellency side?
I'm so glad you just asked that because I had a question for you about that, Nurian, and I didn't know if you were going to make it today or not. So let me show you what I've done so far, and then I'll show you where you can access this document. So I made this Google spreadsheet, and it has each person's name, and the color is associated to your team. So anyone whose name is in pink is in team 1, orange team 2, yellow team 3, green team 4, just as it's designated, written out in the July 11th materials. And then I went into what everyone uploaded into the Moodle and took the link that was the presentation link. But like for you, Noran, you had some additional links there for me that also included like your graphic organizer or outline. And that link is not here. So you can add that link in this next cell for your team to have everything that you want them to have. And then some people only uploaded a paper and not a presentation. So if you see, so what I did was, this is the Google folder. It's the assignment 1 share folder. And you can see very clearly that like Mansoor had a Word document. So when I go to his name on the list, he would have, oh, let me find him. Oh, he doesn't have anything here yet because it's not a presentation. So he can go ahead and put that link in for his team members. And so I made a note at the top of this document for those who aren't with us right now, so that it's pretty explicit, is that I've provided a link to what I received for the most part. But if the presentation of the peer from your group is missing, or if you have questions, you're going to need to reach out to each other to get that link or to clear that up. Everyone has access to this document, and you can change the link. So if Code decides, oh, that's not what I want it shared at all, he can take that link out and put a different link in. Okay.
Great, thank you. Actually,
No
there was a Google Drive link, but I was adding it to the comments on the assignment at the forum. Yeah, so if you would like to replace it, it's your own, or I can add to the Excel sheet, no problem.
Yes.
Thank you
If
for
don't mind
elaboration.
yes, thank you. If you don't mind doing that,
Yes.
so that you know your colleagues have what you want them to have, that would be awesome. Because I honestly wanted to wait till the last minute. I got up this morning for me, because it's morning time for me here in the States. I got up early and went into the Moodle, and the Moodle isn't the most friendly to navigate. So I went in to each person's uploads and tried to find the links and put them in to the shared drive so that everyone would have access, because not everyone had a link itself. Like a Powtoon that was sent to me, that had a link, even though I don't know who it goes to. I could just upload that link if it was Chen, let's say. But I don't know who to upload it to because I don't have their name, because it was sent to me through WhatsApp. So that's okay, because we have the spreadsheet and everybody has access to it, and they can make sure that you have what you need. And this is something that you're going to run into in your workplace, is you have a project that you're working on together as a team, and you might think that you're speaking the same language with each other, and
Is the professor still online, or I'm the one with an internet problem?
I experienced the same.
Yes, I thought it was on my side.
Great, because I was going to check my internet, and yeah, so okay, we will wait for her.
Okay, my apologies. Okay. So can you hear me now, everybody?
Yes, very clear.
My
Yes, perfect.
apologies. I am on my hotspot. Someone just clipped my line when they were doing some yard work outside. Bad timing, very bad timing. Thank you for waiting. So let me get back to my share screen and I will make this quick so that I don't have to inconvenience you any longer. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So essentially you have this document available to you. I'm going to show you right now where that is so that you can go ahead and put your links in if you need to. If you have trouble with that over these next couple of days, don't hesitate to WhatsApp me and I will troubleshoot with you. And if I need to go in and upload for you what you need me to, then I will. But don't wait more than a couple of days to do that because it's not fair to your colleagues to not have what they need. My intention was that we would have everything we needed today when we got started for this. So, so you have that project link. It's available in this share folder as well. And I'm going to drop the link to this share folder in your chat box right now, just in case we lose Wi-Fi again. And then I'm going to show you in the Moodle where to locate everything. And then I will answer questions regarding the expectations, and then I will let you be on your way. Okay, so in the Moodle, this is the 11th of July session, and it says during presentation feedback. So when you select that link, it might take a minute because like I said, I'm on my hotspot using my phone for the Wi-Fi right now. I just need to be patient. If there's any questions while that's connecting.
Professor,
Yes.
and when we see and my team and what they do or what they their research, then I will go the feedback. Is this correct?
Correct. So you're not going to read their paper, you're just going to view their presentation. And you can do that with the feedback form link open and do the feedback while you watch the presentation, or you can watch the presentation and then complete the feedback form, whichever works for you. And then I will make sure that they get all of that feedback without your names on it. So you'll receive the feedback from everyone in your team, but you won't know who gave you that feedback so that they can have the privacy of being open.
Okay, I understand. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
no problem. All right, and thank you. That was perfect timing because now you can see on the screen. So these are your teams. That's why I color coded them the way that I did on the spreadsheet. And then this is the rubric. And here is the link for the feedback form. And you can do it as many times as you need to for the number of team members you have. And this is the spreadsheet link that has all the links for you to access your colleague's presentation. And then just in case you can't see the image for some reason where you're at, because I know sometimes there's issues with security and access for images. I listed each of the team members for each group down here. And then that's what you need to do for this between now and the 17th of July. And then when you come to session, oh, I got to go up here, sorry. When you come to the session on the 18th of July, I will remind you that you have just a couple of days to do your revision so that I can see your final presentation. I'll be reading your papers between now and then, but if you make changes to it, I can just go ahead and read the changes as well so that I can get your feedback to you sometime during that week of the 18th. So I'm scrolling down.
Professor,
Yes.
the Excel link is read only, so I guess we will not be able to copy the links. So can it be a read write settings?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and change that share right now. Thank you. It says anyone with the link up. I'll change it to editor. That's why. Done. And if you refresh, you should be able to edit it now. Thank you for that. Let's make sure that's not an issue. So then when we go into the 18th of July, I'm just going to open up the visual for you. It's going to take a minute. Might be faster to do it over here. Nope. Okay. So on the 18th of July, you'll have written your reflection that you're doing for your personal journal on Chapter 7's content about how does our understanding of teams differ in a global context. And then you'll review the lecture and presentation deck, read the chapter for Chapter 8. If you want to listen to the audio of that, that's there as well. And you'll bring that example of your communication that we're going to do an engagement with on the 18th. So we'll be engaging with content for Chapter 8 then. You'll have that quiz for chapters 1 through 5, even though it says 1 through 7. Remember, I said I did not include chapters 6 and 7 because we haven't explicitly gone over that. And we'll front load for the 25th. When we come together during that session, I will remind you that you received all of your links from your colleagues and remind you that you have the next 48 hours to get those changes done. So for example, if I am in Noran's group and all the links are there that we need to do the feedback, and Noran sees that everything is done, like she's done everything she needs to do, her colleagues have done everything she needs to do, you're all set then. And on the 18th, I will say that that group has completed everything they needed to complete and everything has been sent to each individual member so that they can start their revisions. Now, if we have a group that doesn't hold up their end of the bargain and doesn't do the feedback that they're supposed to do, then I will provide the feedback from who has completed it. And we will still hold you to the 48 hours. But if you feel like you need additional feedback, you and I can have a conversation so that you can still feel supported. And then the points that will be allotted for doing the feedback just won't be provided to the individuals who choose not to do it because that's not being a part of a team. So that's what it's going to look like on Monday, the 18th. Any questions about that?
Professor, I have a question,
Yes.
but not about that 18 or what will happen on 18th. In general, I was under the impression that the presentation will be alive. So I did my presentation, but not with voice on it. So
Okay.
now it is better to record it, right?
Yes, you'll need to record it and upload it to the spreadsheet for your colleagues. And I got a
No
thumbs
issue.
up that we're able to open that now, so that's good.
Okay, I'll find out how.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, so your main things between now and when you come back together with me on the 18th is to provide feedback to your colleagues on their presentation. And if you don't have your presentation, like Ahmed just shared, the audio wasn't there, you're going to get that on there right away so that your colleagues have what they need. If you're the colleague in his group and you don't see it there, then you reach out to him and give him a little friendly nudge. So that's the essential. That's really important. And then the next piece is the quiz for that week. And then you can move into the 18th materials. And if you have questions about that, don't hesitate to ask me. And that is pretty much where we're at with this. Yes, Abdusmid?
And the quiz time, Professor, is this week or the next week, 18 July?
There are two different quizzes. There's one for the 11th and there's one for the 18th.
For the 11th?
Yes, there's one. And I'm leaving it open for a few days. It is open until Wednesday, the 13th at midnight, my time. And then same thing for the quiz on the 18th. That will be open until Friday, the 22nd, because that's a discussion quiz on the 18th. You're going to need to interact with each other. And I felt like the time frame last time with the discussion interactions caused people to panic a little more. And even though you're going to be put in scenarios like that in your workplace, I don't want it to be a stressor for you in the class. So the chapter 1 through 5 quiz is starting now. It opens at 12 o'clock my time today, so it will open in 1 hour because I know you're in different time zones. And it will be open until midnight my time frame on Wednesday. So what's essential right now is the feedback to your peers, uploading your link if you don't have it there already for them to give you feedback, doing the quiz, and going through the materials for the 18th, and remembering to bring a example of communication from your workplace for that meeting. So there's 4 key things. Yes.
Do you hear me?
I can hear you.
I uploaded all my materials in the Moodle, but I don't see my link in the link beers.
Right. So you're going to need to add that link to the spreadsheet now because you uploaded your materials after I set the spreadsheet up.
Okay, good.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I'll hang on for another minute or two if you need any feedback. Yes, Judalyn?
Yes. I said I already submitted my presentation, but I need to make any correction before you check it.
Okay, so then if you need to make a correction, let me look at your. Do you want me to take the link off of the spreadsheet right
Then
now?
put some hyperlink and
I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
and it's
Can you maybe type that in the chat box for me because I didn't catch what you were asking? Okay, while Judalyn is typing that in the chat box for me, so that I can answer her question, if you have additional questions, hang in here with us. If not, you are welcome to go and start maneuvering in the platform. And if something arises and you want to verify with me, just send me a message in WhatsApp. That's the easiest way for me to get back to you quickly. And we can communicate there. I look forward to seeing your presentations for one thing, because I did sneak a peek at some of them and I'm really impressed. And then I'm also excited to read the feedback of your peers and their perspectives on it and provide that all to you before we meet on the 18th. So have a great, great afternoon. This recording will be uploaded to the Moodle right away. And it's always available in the Microsoft Office as well. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, greatly,
Professor.
Professor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Professor,
Yes.
I just want to summarize what's required. So finish the presentation maximum by when?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't know if you broke up or if you if you were still speaking.
No, because I'm writing as I'm speaking with you.
Okay. So your presentation should be finished and the link should be uploaded today. That was,
okay.
yes. And so when that's uploaded, then your next step is to provide feedback to your peers or your colleagues who are in your team.
Okay.
And that is due by the 17th, the day before our next class.
Okay.
And then the morning of the 18th, I will send you all of your feedback information that your teammates
Okay,
put
that's
in the
on you.
forms.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Then,
on me.
After the feedback will be the quiz. Am I right?
Yes, and the quiz is going to be open until the midnight my time, Eastern time zone, on Wednesday the 13th.
Wednesday 13th.
Yes.
Okay. Then prepare for the for chapter 8.
Yes, correct. And something you'll bring when you're preparing for chapter 8, something you'll bring on the 18th will be a sample of communication in your workplace. It can be as simple as an email. It can be a memorandum of understanding, you know, whatever, just an example of communication in your workplace.
So,
and that will make sense to you once you read or review the chapter 8.
Okay, great.
Okay.
No issues. This will be by the 17th as well.
The communication
no,
piece you'll bring
18th.
with you to class on the 18th. Yes.
18th.
Yes.
18th. Great. Now I have a timeline.
Yes, you
and
do.
I'll stick to it. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and I'm going to just repeat the timeline to make sure that it's in sequence for you. Today, if your presentation with audio is not uploaded to the Google Sheet, it needs to be. Within the next days, between now and the 17th of July, you'll offer feedback to your team members. For the 18th of July, and you'll take the quiz. Sorry, I'll back up. You'll take the quiz for chapters 1 through 5 between now and midnight Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, the 13th. So you have 2 days for the quiz instead of just the 24 hours. And then you'll review the chapter 18 materials and bring with you on the 18th a example of communication.
Okay, now, yeah, that is great. Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Professor,
Yes, Abdusmid? Or was that?
yes.
Yes.
I understand all of this, but I don't understand when it comes to chapter 8 example. I didn't understand what that means.
So that will make
Example.
sense to you. Yeah, an example of communication, and it will make sense to you when you read the chapter. That chapter is all
Okay.
about communication in the workplace. And
Okay.
and that will make sense to you when you read the chapter. It's bringing a email, you know, like maybe your leader sends you emails about team meetings or something. It might be a document that has the norms for when you read the chapter, it will make sense.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Just to clarify though, Abdusmid, it is not anything that you need to prepare. It's something that you should already have from your workplace.
Okay.
Okay. Sarah, did you have something?
Yes, Professor. I just wanted to confirm the link. Are we going to grant it to our team members and you as well?
Yes, you're going to put the link in the spreadsheet.
Okay.
And then everyone will have access to it, but your teammates are the ones who will give you feedback, and then I'll be able to use it obviously too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if there aren't any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and close out the meeting. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for putting up with my Wi-Fi breaking in and out. I'm glad that I was able to have my hotspot on my phone to use to finish up the meeting. If you have questions, don't hesitate to WhatsApp me. I might not give you the answer in the way that you want it, because I'm all about making you think, but do continue to get clarification from me. I don't want you to feel confused in any way. I will, at least at a minimum, I'll send you to where you can access the information that you need. So have a great holiday for those who are on a religious holiday. Have a great week for everyone, and I will see you all next Monday. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Professor.